Hi guys, so because this is a nice day outside, I'm going to film out here, and hopefully my neighbors don't give me weird looks and stuff. So I'm going to start by talking about the first episode of the two-part series. So it began with her date with Nick, who said something pretty funny along the lines of, what are the odds that this would work out? Which made me laugh because where's your enthusiasm, buddy? So they end up going hiking, which is a date that I totally would not appreciate if it was given to me. And eventually he receives the rose, which suddenly magically restores his faith in this entire process. So the next date was the singing date with Boys to Men. As Brian said, "For the wine." I did that inside so the neighbors wouldn't hear me. I think it's pretty safe to say that this date embarrassed at least 8 out of 10 of the guys. One of them, namely Bradley, 1 out of the 10, embarrassed himself. He was and just completely embarrassing himself and everyone else and making everyone uncomfortable. And that little girl with her hands over her ears, I could totally understand why she was doing that. The final 1 out of 10, TASOS, was obviously adorable, but Before I continue, speaking of TASOS, my friend Roseanne sent him a tweet showing him my last video for episode 2, and he found it on my profile and favorited it. So the fact that he saw me confessing my undying love is pretty embarrassing, but pretty exciting. She ends up giving Josh M the rose, which is a good choice because you can tell how suave he is, and I think that Andy really likes him. Next, she chooses JJ for what could have been the creepiest date ever. Kind of gave me flashes of Bad Grandpa, but honestly, I really liked it and I thought it was really cute, and I think the reason why was because JJ was on the date. He had such a good sense of humor, and I didn't really pay that much attention to him, but I actually really like him and his personality. His pants are horrible, no excuse, but I think he was the perfect guy for the date. One other thing about this date that I liked is how willing Andy is to look silly and be funny, and I think she's so down to earth, and I just really like her. Moving on to the cocktail party, while Andy was talking to Eric, that these flowers just coincidentally come to the house during that time. And my mom made a really good point. She said, why wouldn't Nick have sent the flowers to her room? It's because he is a show-off. And then getting to the end, Andrew, what a damn fool. I will never understand guys or girls on the show who act like this, because you know that you're not going to get away with it. And then he runs away like a coward. It's they're chasing him and he's like, no, don't talk to me. And then obviously he gets the last rose for dramatic effect. She ends up eliminating Bradley and Brett, which was just a matter of time. I mean, come on, we were all waiting for that one. And I'm looking forward to episode 2, so I will get back to you on that.
Before I even start with filming anything, right now, obviously, yes, it was extremely sad about this whole thing with Eric, and this was necessary to have something talking about him. But thinking, I was like, there's no way TASOS would get eliminated. And so they said that TASOS was eliminated just like it was nothing. You guys, if you guys have been following this, you know that I really like him. And I don't even get to see how he leaves. Oh my God. I was just gonna wait until I film the actual thing, but I just think that you guys really need to see my emotions right now.
Hey guys, so I have cleaned myself up, fixed my hair, and I'm gonna go on to the rest of the episode. So I'm gonna start with the first date with Dylan. Other than his greasy stringy hair, I actually think he's a really good looking guy. Unfortunately, when the date started, it was really awkward, and you can understand why, because he had a big thing to tell her. But if I was her, I would take from the situation that he wasn't really interested. She's looking out oh, look at the beautiful river, and he's like, yeah, I guess it's all right. I think you and I both know that he was gonna be given the rose, because really, as much as they say that it's not for pity, she would pretty much be getting all of this internet hate and real life hate if she did end up sending somebody home after making such a serious confessions. I don't think everyone would really understand if she was like, oh, you just poured your heart out? Now get the hell out. The next date was the basketball date, which was perfectly suited to the basketball coach Brian, who I really like. He was visibly seen glowing in various shots. I'm sure Andy and her intimidating looking basketball playing girlfriends really enjoyed watching these glistening men fight to the death. Okay, maybe not to the death, but the way that the losers ended up reacting to it, you might as well have thought that they were going to be put to death. You could see Josh looking at the basketball court like a soap opera star or something, and the winners are popping bottles and high-fiving and just loving each other. Nervous, giddy Brian gets the rose, which I totally agree with, and you could see him radiating with a beacon of glee.
And then Marcus's date was next. So to add to the series of unfortunate dates that Marcus has been on, the first being the fact that he had to strip by himself in front of a bunch of ravenous ladies, and the second was having to embarrass himself by singing that Boyz II Men song. Then he had to rappel off of a building. One of the guys said something about his clothing, which I completely agreed with. He was wearing, poor guy, was wearing a pea coat and skinny jeans to rappel off of this building. Like, I think he could have been prepared slightly better for this date. But he was super supportive. He was my mom's favorite, which I totally understand because he was a total gentleman. And then of course there was the issue with Eric. I was completely shocked because I thought that the issue was going to be with Andrew as a continuation of last week, but I guess it wasn't, and it ended up leading him to go home and the unexpected ending to the episode. Honestly, that was a little bit hard to watch, and in my personal opinion, I think that it probably could have been cut down a little bit just given the way that it ended, and I really miss TASOS already. Okay, join me the week after next week because I think that there's a week off, and I will see you guys then. Thank you for watching.
I'm so angry!